Good evening. I would like to call this regular meeting of the HERE Commission to order at 6:36 p.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Brenha. Please stand. Adrian, if you could please call the roll.
Commissioner Borja,
Present.
Commissioner Brenhag,
Here.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons, Commissioner Herrera,
Present.
Commissioner Khan,
Present.
Vice Chair Godo,
Here.
and Chair Jennings Nunez.
Here. We will now have some announcements from our staff liaison, Matthew Morales-Stevens.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on Cable Channel 3 and our online platforms. If you wish to address the HERE Commission during tonight's meeting, we request that you please complete a speaker's card and hand it to the clerk, Adrian Franquez. When speaking, please state your name for the record. If you wish to be added to the distribution list to receive HERE Commission agendas, please email your request to herecommission@sgch.org.
Thank you, Matthew. So we have just a slight departure from our agenda this evening because it is only Tuesday, but it's just been a really full last few days. It's been full of celebration, it's been full of fear, confusion, anger, and really too full of grief and mourning. So Matthew and I knew that just like you have been individually and just as other organizations and groups have been, that we would want to have a moment to remember the victims, the families, the friends, and the communities who have been affected by the many acts of gun violence in the last several days, particularly those lost in the Monterey Park tragedy on Saturday night. So before we begin our meeting, we're going to have just a minute of silence. Thank you for that. So we'll move on to the approval of our agenda order. Are there any objections to the agenda order? I do have a motion. I don't know if it's considered an objection, but I would like to move that we table agenda item number, I don't know if that's the appropriate language, but that we hold off on discussing agenda item number D. What is it? 4D. That's finalizing and approving our 2023 annual work plan, because we do have 2 new commissioners who will be joining us for our February meeting. We will pull forward the information that we obtained from each of the commissioners at our last meeting, so that will be, carried forward to the next meeting. But I just think that it would be appropriate to allow them an opportunity to be a part of the 2023 work plan. So my motion is that we table the 4D agenda item until the next meeting.
I support it.
So the motion was made by Chair Jennings and second by Commissioner Khan. Adrian, would you please take the vote?
Commissioner Borja,
Aye.
Commissioner Brenhag,
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons is absent. Commissioner Herrera,
Aye.
Commissioner Khan,
Aye.
Vice Chair Godo,
Aye.
Chair Jennings Nunez,
Aye. Aye.
Motion passed by a vote of 6 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 1 absent.
Thank you. So we're moving on to agenda item number 3, public comment. This is the time set aside for members of the public to address the HERE Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the HERE Commission. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the HERE Commission cannot answer any questions or take any action until such time as the matter may appear as an item on a future agenda. If you wish to address the HERE Commission, please fill out a speaker's card and hand it to the clerk. Matthew, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. So moving on to approval of the minutes. Do we have any public comments on this action item?
We do not.
Thank you. Is there a motion to, or is there any discussion or any changes for the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes of November 22nd, 2022?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Adrian, if you could please take the vote.
Commissioner Borja,
Aye.
Commissioner Brennhug,
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons,
Absent.
Commissioner Herrera,
Aye.
Commissioner Khan,
Aye.
Vice Chair Godo,
Aye.
Chair Jennings Nunez.
Aye.
Motion passed by a vote of 6 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 1 absent.
Thank you. So we will move on to our discussion items for the night. And the first one is a bittersweet item because it is recognition of our outgoing commissioners. Just for the public, we did have 3 commissioner seats that were up for, that were open. And we now have 2 new commissioners. And so we are saying goodbye to 2 of our original OG commissioners, and that is Commissioner Jackie Borja and Commissioner Sue Fitzsimmons. So our city staff is going to recognize our outgoing commissioners, and if any of the current commissioners have any words that they want to add, then please feel free to do so.
Well, first of all, since she's here, I'd like to just recognize her work. She's been a silent force behind the team. She has made us accomplish quite a few things during the years, so I would definitely miss her. And Sue is one of those who advocated always our shortcomings, and I definitely will miss her too.
Oh, I guess I'll go next. Since Jackie's here, Sue's not here, but let me just start with Sue then. Like Commissioner Khan said, she was always like, giving us that different perspective on things, and that's always appreciated. But for Jackie, I mean, like Commissioner Khan said, silent but mighty, definitely. I can go back to when we had all those kids or the high school students participating and volunteering. That was all her doing, and it's just, you will be greatly missed. You know where to reach me. I'm here to help you in your next endeavor. Please you're welcome to come and sit on our meetings and give us feedback or submit comments whenever you want, but you will be greatly missed. We really appreciate all you did, and I'm sure you will continue doing. Thank you so much.
I just want to add my thanks to both Commissioners Fitzsimmons and Borja for being part of our inaugural group and helping us get off the ground and accomplish quite a lot. And we're really going to miss you, Jackie, but we are definitely staying in touch, and I know that you have already offered to lend assistance around our Youth Ambassador program and others, so Your presence will definitely be missed, but we'll be roping you back in. And thank you again for all of your hard work. And not so silent, just quiet and calm.
Yeah, I just want to echo what the other commissioners have said, both about Commissioner Fitzsimmons and Commissioner Borja. I just really appreciated Commissioner Fitzsimmons' perspective and her willingness to do so much volunteer work and try to bring communities together. And I really appreciate Commissioner Borja's just positivity and hard work. She was, you know, when she signed up for something, she went in all the way. And I was just really amazed and inspired by that. So thank you so much to both of you. We will miss you.
I'm actually going to give Commissioner Borja the last word, but I just want to say that I 100% agree with everything that all of the other commissioners have said and all of the positive words that they have for both Commissioner Fitzsimmons and for Commissioner Borja. It really takes a lot for you to apply for a brand-new commission, not knowing what to expect. And so I applaud both of you for doing that and for being such active members of the commission. So thank you so much.
So I just want to thank all the commissioners for your friendship, for your camaraderie, for working together, you know, getting our action plans worked on, for educating me on certain things as well. You know, I know that I will miss being here with you, but like I said, I'm always going to be connected to you. I'm at Gabrielino. I want to connect the kids. I want to continue this work here. So I'm kind of like that extension. You just pick up the phone. We have this program. We did this. So I'm kind of doing it from the sidelines. So I'm still here, but I'm not here. And thank you to all the staff for all the great work that you've done and everything that we kind of put on your plate, because I know you guys have a lot to do. Thank you so much.
So I would like to take a picture of all of us together before we continue the meeting. You get lots of goodies to take home. So we have flowers for you, and cake for you, and more flowers for you. And these are just cute. So. Yes. Okay, so our next agenda item is going to be discussion of our approved 2022 annual work plan. The commissioner members will continue, I don't know if we're going to continue working on the approved 2022 work plan. Matthew, do we have any public comments on this item?
We do not. Is there anyone present that would like to make a public comment? Nope.
So for this item, I'm not sure what we need to do for this item.
I have a couple updates for you, if you will. I think it'll help in preparation for the next meeting as well. So the Youth Ambassador Program application, it has gone to the city attorney. We've received edits back, so we should be good to go to start working with the city clerk and get everything moving towards getting it launched. The next step will be getting it fully finalized and then sent off to work with the city clerk's office to kind of how that would work as far as advertising it. Would it work exactly like the most recent commission? How would the interviews go? All of the kind of nitty-gritty details as far as how that would get moving. So positive news that we're there, and so we should be good to go by next meeting. Let me just take a look at the rest of the work plan and see if there's any other updates. I did move the Mental Wellness Expo, and that's for 2023, and presumably will be in your 2023 work plan that will get presented to council once it's finalized. Let's see. The youth engagement survey, or the engagement survey that went out to the community, all of the results are in for that. So there was some question as far as kind of what would happen with that. I think that was addressed in the last discussion of the 2023 work plan. But I didn't know if there was anything beyond that you needed from us specific to the 2022 work plan, or if you'll just carry that over into 2023, or if you had any questions based off of that, or any other jumping off points from that as we're kind of cleaning up from there.
I think the only thing I was thinking about was, and it's kind of in conjunction with our, I think, what we're going to discuss in terms of our updated website, possibly making a shortened version that we could maybe post the results. I know it's really super long, so I don't know maybe what the other commissioners think about possibly taking some of the highlights of the survey results and posting those so people can see. I think it would be nice for especially those who participated to know that, you know, we have taken their opinion. We've looked at, you know, the data that we've collected. That's the only thing that I thought of. I think maybe we can shorten some of the like write-in answers. It's kind of lengthy, but I think those charts that you had that showed some of the results would be of interest.
And I think I mentioned it at the last meeting, the Community Services Commission was interested in the survey, and they requested an abridged version of the survey, if you will. So that's essentially, it sounds like what you're looking to have posted. So when we're done with that, we can get that posted.
Perfect.
That does lead me into the other item, which would be the website, which is kind of wrapping up that section. Let me make sure.
I do want to say that if you haven't visited our website lately, I was pleasantly surprised at all of the new additions and changes. So a lot of the suggestions and recommendations that have been made over the last few months are now incorporated in the website. So I asked Matthew if he could just kind of highlight some of those for us tonight.
Excellent. So the main page will stay the same. I'm trying to navigate looking at the two screens. There's the regular web page, which has all of the general information. What is the HERE Commission, the current commissioners and the terms, where you can find the meetings, the agendas and the minutes, and then of course the super fun part, the HERE Commission facts and the ordinance and all of that. What you'll also see popping back up here is the ability to apply to become a commissioner, which will essentially just be a wait list should there be an unexpected vacancy. So the city clerk's office will be putting that up, so don't be surprised when you see that. On to the tabs over here, or the sub-pages. The first one is the Native American Heritage Month celebration. So when you click on that, you will see the YouTube video that our public information officer posted for us and that the commission worked in conjunction with the two chiefs on. So you can just click right on here and it'll start playing the video for you. So you're not having to search through the catalog of videos that are on the city's YouTube channel. If you click on guest speakers, You'll notice it gives you a bit of information, and if someone really wants to present to the HERE Commission, then they can reach out to me. I'll have that discussion with them and then present that to the commission. If you click through the tabs, you'll find all of the speakers, the date of the meeting, as well as the name of the person and or the organization. Sometimes if it's, for example, Danny Anderson, she wasn't on behalf of a specific organization at the time of the meeting. So it'll just be her name and then a description as to either what they do, what the organization does for the community, resources that are available, or what they presented at that specific meeting, and or a compilation of both, depending on what we have available. And then most of them, especially if they are organizations, will have a link to the meeting in which they can listen to the presentation and a link to the website. So we tried to make it as kind of user-friendly as possible. And we'll click through here just so you can see it. It's all here as best as possible. And then check back soon for an updated list of speakers. So as the commission plans out, let's say the next 3 speakers, and we get those all confirmed, we can kind of have a save the date that on the October meeting, such and such organization will be speaking, so that way people have a heads up as to when they will be there. So if they want to see it live and in person, they can do so. If we go back to the San Gabriel Mental Wellness Expo, we've uploaded some photos of the last event, so you can scroll through and take a look at them. This will also help in marketing for the 2023 Mental Wellness Expo, should the commission decide to move forward with another one. There'll be a place where you can send people to find out more information. Of course, this page will get updated once all of the details are confirmed for 2023. So in place of the information up here will be all of the 2023 info. I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns you might have.
It looks fantastic. Thank you so much for all your hard work on putting this together. It's definitely been a long time coming. One question I have is it possible on the original homepage, do we have an ability to post a group picture above, like where the, listing of all the commissioners? I'm not sure if that's possible.
Sure, I would need to check with the city clerk's office. They try to keep all of the pages in uniform.
Uniform, right.
So I'll check with the city clerk's office and see if that wouldn't be a major hindrance.
It might not be a bad idea to get pictures of the other commissions too, so. And then I had a couple of other additions that I was thinking about for the sidebar as, supplemental pages. But I was trying to think of it in terms of things that would not have to be changed frequently on your part. So I really love how you did the guest speakers and broke them out by the year. I think that's fantastic. And so one of the things I was thinking for our events was maybe to just list events and then have them break out by year as well, because otherwise that sidebar is going to get pretty long as the years go on, and a lot of activities have happened. So that was just one of my thoughts, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to maybe also post our work plan so that people can find it easily. I know it's part of our minutes and things like that, but if people wanted to access it pretty quickly. And then one question I had for you, I know that we've had some photos of other events that we've done. Is there a possibility that we could have like a link to a photo gallery that we could just upload pictures? I don't know if we need to have like a different service that it links to, or if the platform you're using has that capability.
So is the goal to put photos of like events that like booths we're at and things like that?
Yeah.
I would need to speak with our public information officer just to see how much space it would take. Like, would it be
Yeah.
too much?
Right.
I don't
know
see it being-
bandwidth too.
Right.
And also, one of the things that we probably need to discuss with the new work plan is the process of how we're going to approve stuff to go up. Like, my feeling is that has to go all through you and Clara. But if there's a guidelines or whatever that she has for what content can be included. I think that would be helpful for us to know.
I thought, am I remembering, didn't our commission come up with a kind of process for that already? I thought we had this discussion.
For submitting resources or for like special events that are coming?
No, just for anything that we wanted to see whether we could make it part of our webpage. It essentially just needs to go
So
through you.
essentially it just goes to me.
Okay.
And I'll
And
vet
you'll-
it through and
Okay.
then pass it on to Clara if it.
Got it.
But we can maybe come up with some guidelines as to what kinds of things we would want
Correct.
to be submitted to you.
Okay, great.
I was also wondering, I know the land acknowledgement statement has a different kind of home on the website, but it's a little bit kind of buried in like the planning area. I'm just wondering if there can be a link as well to that, since that was part of the work plan of the HERE Commission as well.
Would it be a link to the Land Acknowledgement Statement Advisory Committee page or to the actual statement itself?
I didn't know that there was a committee page. Maybe I missed that. So, yeah, I think it should be a little bit centralized right now. And I think there was a page that talked about like the timeline, right? Is that the committee page that it talks about the?
I can pull up
Okay.
to see what we have on the website now.
I know there was a committee page at one point. You might have to search it. But my suggestion would be a link to the actual statement once the statement is finalized.
My apologies. There did used to be one. I'm not sure if maybe the delay and the time in which we've had it, somehow it got pushed aside. But we'll have to get that up and running again anyways, so we will take care of that. In the interim, we can link it to that page where they can find out more information about the meetings and past agendas and minutes, and then once it's finalized, just replace it with the final statement, and then where it could be viewed if there are places once it's approved by council.
Anyone else? I would just also maybe suggest that on the sidebar, we also include the engagement survey as a link, and then it could go to the amended results, and then if we do another survey, it could go to that survey as well. So that might be a good other topic.
I didn't see any pictures of other commissioners on the website, so I'm not sure if that's a stretch, asking them to put our pictures.
We'll find out.
Is there a city gallery, a city photo gallery that we could just submit pictures to, just a general city photo gallery where they put, Lunar New Year and beer and dumplings and, all of the city events where they post all of those pictures?
Sure. As of now, we don't have any sort of city photo gallery. Usually it's posted on the website in either anticipation of or in support of an upcoming event.
Okay.
And then it comes down. And then, of course, the social media channels will have the photos.
It may be a bandwidth situation, because I know photo files are usually pretty large, so yeah, if we can find out from our PIO if that's possible, that would be great.
I had a question. So when an event such as Commissioner Khan with ICNA Relief and they do the free backpack, could that be considered part of HERE Commission? No?
I, unless it is one of our events, we may go and support them as individuals, and you can certainly let people know that you are on the HERE Commission, but I don't think it would be, unless it's something officially sponsored by the HERE Commission, I don't know if, or sponsored by the city, I don't know if we would be able to promote that as a Here Commission event.
But my thought would be if there were photos from that and the here commissioners were at that event, that maybe that could be posted in the photo gallery as just, an event, like if, when we tabled that National Night Out, if, we had a photo of that, that could be kind of a place just to show our activities that are not necessarily sponsored officially by your commission. But once again, that depends on whether or not we're able to even have the photo gallery.
So the only thing we'd have to be careful about is starting to, if they're not something that's officially sponsored by the Here Commission and the city, then we haven't necessarily discussed them as a group that we are in support of it. And while I'm not suggesting that anybody would be at an event or supporting something that we wouldn't all be happy to be a part of, I think we just would need to be careful about posting our own individual causes and kind of grouping them under the Here Commission.
Yeah, I think that's why the discussion on what the procedure or process would be for approving what would go up, I mean, I think everyone would have to agree.
So National Night Out was something that we so certainly any event that we discuss and we're supporting and participating in as a commission, we definitely should try to promote that and save pictures. Any other updates, Matthew, or any other questions concerning the 2022 work plan and updates on that? Okay, so then our next agenda item is just going to the 2023 Mental Wellness Expo planning. The staff is going to present a proposed outline and date for the 2023 Mental Wellness Expo. Commissioners can begin to plan the event, including the scope and budget needed. Matthew, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. So I will allow you to make the presentation.
Okay, thank you. So the 2022 Mental Wellness Expo was fantastic. The commission did an amazing job, and it's my understanding that the intention is to have a 2023 Mental Wellness Expo. And let me just change the screen one moment. So there's a couple of things that we've discussed at the last meeting as far as kind of putting it out there and planting the seed, and now I'm just hoping we can finalize a date, time, location, all of those good things. So the first one is that from the perspective of the use of the adult center and in front of the playhouse and looking at both schedules, October 1st would be the ideal date. I know it's a little off the track from the September date, but it's the most ideal as far as staff is concerned. And then some other options would be Sundays, September 10th, 17th, and 24th. So of course, I think the 17th falls in the closest alignment with what was offered in 2022, as far as the approximate date range. So I don't know if there's something that sticks out to you, but as I mentioned, the October 1st would be the ideal. They're all Sunday dates, though.
Would the October 1st date be too close to the beer and dumplings for the staff? Because although it was a fantastic effort by the commission, we could not have done it without the staff. So I want to be mindful of other things that are on your plate. Is that including the beer and dumplings?
Sure. So the Community Development Department does lead the Dumplings and Beer event. And later in that month, we have the Fall Fun Festival, which is quite large, that's on our plate. Of course, we do play a role in Dumplings and Beer as well. There's not a huge time difference as far as planning is concerned. The execution is, of course, going to be there regardless. But in looking at the facility usage, that's where it's going to be the biggest relief as far as staff are concerned, just because of the event that happens the day prior, and then the events leading up to that.
Commissioner Borja, do you have any insight into what might be better for the school and the students who are participating? My thought is, if it's not October 1st, then we probably would want to do something like September 10th, because the 17th is really close to, again, Mexican Independence Day on the 16th. So I think that weekend would probably not be the best.
I would think that October 1st, I mean, in a way, the later date is better because of the start of the school year, and I'm going to be helping out from the sidelines, you know, those things like that. But it's up to the staff, you know. I can go with any date, but if anything, October, a little bit later date is good.
So Sunday is the only day. Why Sundays? I mean, is that most convenient day, or?
So as far as the use of the grapevine, we're all booked out until now we're entering 2024, all in Saturdays. Yeah, so I would love to, but unfortunately I don't have the staff capacity to flip a facility all in one day and then host a wedding in the afternoon.
That's a good reason.
We were wondering about like using the signs again. Would changing it to October be like a harder update? It doesn't really matter. Okay.
I don't think so. 'Cause I think you have to make the change anyways, so.
So with the signage, good that you bring that up. I mean, I would like to have, if all the commissioners are in favor for it, to have the big banners over the overhead, a couple of them. I know last time we couldn't do it because it was too soon. So if we could start planning for that, if that's feasible.
So do you need a motion for the date, or we're just generally discussing things right now?
Sure, so if you're okay with it, we can just have the general discussions as I go along, and then we'll do one motion for everything. Are there any other comments on the date before I move on?
No, it seems like there's a consensus that October
Excellent.
1st would be fine.
Let's see. So with October 1st, I'll go back and triple check with the Playhouse, make sure we're not missing anything, and then we'll confirm that and send that out via email later this week or early next week at the very latest, and then get that on the calendar. And then as far as the budget is concerned, let me backtrack a little bit and go to scope. So I know that there was some conversation about maybe enlarging it or going bigger and better than in 2022. My recommendation, as far as what I know our staff can accommodate and what the space can accommodate without moving to another location or going into additional avenues, would be to maintain the same scope that you had this year or last year now. There's definitely room for some growth, like into the tent area, or kind of reconfiguring some of the community booths out front to maximize the space, and maybe utilizing the grass area at the tent area for additional community booths. But as far as adding additional elements or doing a street closure or anything like that, that might be above and beyond what we can accommodate, given everything else that the staff will be working on. So if everyone is okay with that, unless there's additional comments on it.
I think the size was good. It was enough that there was a lot of content for people, but it wasn't overwhelming that people didn't get to get around to all of the booths. And I know one important thing for our exhibitors is to make sure that enough people come by their booth. So I think the size was pretty good.
But we can get more people, though.
Correct.
Definitely.
Definitely more people. Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. So the final item is the budget. So obviously this wasn't a budgeted item last year. Our department will be working along with all the other departments on kind of proposals for the next fiscal year. So our recommendation is to go in with about 1,000 for this event, and then anything above and beyond that 1,000 that would be budgeted from the general fund. If the commission chooses, they could go on and get sponsorships or things like the street banner that would be about 1,000 for something like that, or maybe more now. It's been a little bit since I've ordered one. Potentially a sponsor could cover individual items that would enhance the event.
So last year, we applied and received the grant from the Community Foundation. That grant was for how much? 15?
It was for 2,000.
Okay.
We do still have the remainder of the fund. So the budget came in as far as expenditures at $1,522.82. So the remainder would still be available for use.
Okay, because I think part of the reason why we didn't expend all of it is didn't have enough time to order the street banner. Had we ordered the street banner, we certainly would have expended all of those funds. So I would hope for a budget of close to $2,000 again. I don't know if we would need to apply for a grant for a portion of that, or if we could ask for a $2,000 budget from the general fund specifically for this event. But I don't know why we would be able to do it for 1,000 if we needed 1,500 last year.
So as far as the sponsorships, if we decide to go that route and get more money from sponsors, is there like a set group that we normally are working with? I know that like utility companies always like to sponsor these kind of events, and I think we even have AT&T around here too. We can reach out to them. But is there a set list that we're like comfortable working with?
So it's been a while since we've reached out to people for funds, at least our department. That's what I can speak on. I'd have to delve a little bit deeper and see if maybe community development has looked for additional sponsorships for their events. But we have not been actively seeking sponsorships. If we do get sponsorships, it'll be something kind of more specific to a particular item or an in-kind donation. We've had a couple small senior-related programs that have had small in-kind donations, but by small, I mean like very small, like for just a few dozen people. Something larger in terms of thousands of dollars, those typically become harder to collect and request, and typically the larger companies are looking for people or for events that are attracting thousands of people to kind of match the donation that they're looking
Right.
for. But to answer your question, I do not have an active
Right,
list of people
right.
that were.
Because I can start actively looking for people, without a doubt. I think it's possible. I think it's doable. But then normally, if they sponsor, they're gonna sponsor like a significant amount, like $500, $1,000, or something like that, right? Depending on however we decide to lay it out and what we want to do with it. I think with a hot topic like mental wellness, I think a lot of people will be for that. A lot of companies and corporations would be interesting to support a cause like that. I don't think there's anybody else doing it like the way we're doing it, at least around here. But normally, when we do get like a sponsor, there's like a flyer or a banner, and they like to have like a logo or somewhere. A question for you: when we do get like sponsors, like let's say for example, I'm not saying that they will, but they probably would. Like the assembly member, Mike Fong sponsor, or Hilda Solis, or Senator Susan Rubio, or whoever, or Congresswoman Judy Chu. How does that work? Do they sponsor events? I seen them on the flyer. So do they also sponsor events, right? Or
Correct. It's not uncommon for them to sponsor events, and then they'll request what they're looking for. So whether it's the logo on the flyer or that they'll be present, usually they'll be present regardless. So the donation is kind of in support of the cause, separate from their speaking engagement. But the logo is typically what they request because their funds are supporting that function.
at least on the flyer that goes out, right?
So I think what we would have to do is develop our budget, see what our budget's going to be, and then develop a sponsorship letter with sponsorship levels that describes what they would receive as a sponsor, and then decide how we're going to recognize those sponsors, whether it's going to be on our banner, on some kind of, booklet we hand out, whatever it is. But for right now, if we're saying that I mean, we can discuss it a little bit more at the next meeting. But once we decide on a budget, we may not need any huge sponsors, but, you know, it might be great to have a $100 sponsorship level, a $500 sponsorship level, that kind of thing. But I think that's a really great idea to have sponsors, so.
Right.
um,
And the only thing with the sponsors is that we have to act, not now, right? We can wait, we surely can wait, but normally these bigger sponsors, they start planning where they're gonna put their money in early in the year. So it's always better to catch them earlier than later. But yeah, we have time, right?
And we'll hopefully be able to see what city council will approve in terms of a budget that way, and what we might need to make up in terms of other sources.
If we feel like we've got sponsors, why not come up with a souvenir? A little booklet, which sort of promotes not only the wellness, but also if there are other agencies who would like to participate, we can probably come up with that souvenir also.
I mean, we can see if we have the budget for it, you know, putting together a resource book or something like that with the
Or just-
sponsors might be a good idea.
So as far as with the souvenirs and all that stuff, like a lot of companies have that. So that's gonna be the easier thing, That's a good point to have souvenirs and asking them for that, but I would like to focus on the money aspect, you know, that's a little bit harder, all right? But I can surely work on that. You can assign me once again to work on some souvenirs or something like that. I'm all for that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so for tonight, we have our date, our times we're going to keep the same as last year. The location will be the same, the scope will be similar, and our budget, we're at least hoping for a minimum budget of $2,000.
And can we get that foundation funds again, 1,500?
We can apply for it.
We can try. Chair Jennings Nunez, did they require any kind of report from us or anything, a follow-up from that?
They have not, as far as I know, but I
Okay.
can ask.
I know we had, last thing, promise. I know we had pizza last time. I know that came out of our budget. About how much was that in general? Like, I know a couple pizzas.
The pizza came out to a whopping $58.87. The majority of the funds went to the 4 vinyl banners and the fabric stage banner. The fabric stage banner was actually the most hefty out of all of the marketing materials, but you have that now for future. That came out to a total of $863.95.
Okay. Just in case we do go the sponsor route, I think we can provide a little bit better food. A couple pastries from Pear's Baguette. You know, I know Chair Nunez is also familiar with them, and I'm sure that they will be more than happy to provide, at least for the volunteers. And then I can always reach out to Papa John's, and I know that they're really happy to sponsor some food as well, if we do decide to go with having businesses sponsor.
And then
Thank you. So do you need what do you need from us?
Sure. So I don't think there's a motion needed. It seems like everyone's in pretty solid agreement. The only thing that I'm going to throw out, it doesn't need to be decided tonight, but in preparation for next meeting potentially, is the time. There was discussion of shortening it by an hour, from 12 to 4, which is what the 2022 one was, to 12 to 3 potentially. So I'm just going to kind of throw that out there, and then maybe at the next meeting if there's any questions or concerns.
And we would, was it too long? Did you feel it was too long? Does everybody feel like it was too long?
I think that what happened is people came at 12, and then by 3, there was not very many people left. So we'd have to have a discussion about, you know, as Commissioner Khan mentioned, getting more people there. And then potentially, I know we were pretty behind schedule in terms of our workshop, so I'm not sure we really maximized the number of people who are attending the workshop. So that we probably should just discuss that next time in a little more detail.
Any other information that you need from us? Excellent start, and Commissioner Brenha seems to have not declined to be a part of it. So we will continue that discussion, but she seems to be taking the lead already, so.
Well, did I really seem like I was doing that?
She really did.
Well, I volunteer to work with Commissioner Brenha and come up with some job and role descriptions, because I think the subcommittee did not really work for us. And since we're getting the date so far in advance, I think the planning can happen at these meetings, and everyone can take on a role that they're going to own. And I think that'll take a bunch of the pressure off of you. We just have a much longer timeline to work with.
That's true. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think having a set time at every meeting from now on to, to iron out stuff will be very helpful.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you, Vice Chair Goto. So moving on to agenda item number 5, which are the commission reports. Each commissioner may address the HERE Commission in public on matters of general information and/or concern. This is also the time for commissioners to report on conferences and/or meetings they have attended. Anyone want to start?
Okay, well, I'll start. I'll go ahead and start. I attended a lot of events. It feels like I haven't been here for quite a long time, actually, but I'm not gonna go down the list, okay? Just, I wanted to close by how we started too, but I'm sure everybody's gonna have something to say. So, my heart and my prayers, my heart, it's out for the community, and I'm extending it to anybody that needs any support. We're here. It's just a devastating time that we're living in right now, especially the last couple of days, like our chair, Jennings Nunez, mentioned. It's so unfortunate that something horrible like this happened, and really, this is our home. Monterey Park, I consider it home. This is our San Gabriel Valley. It's just across the way. How many of us, not everybody, go eat there once in a while or pass by there or what have you? I attend a lot of events, and it could have easily been me or a friend, and I know that there's people close to me that know people directly that were affected, and names are still being released, right? I want to commend the young gentleman that stepped up over in Alhambra. I forget his name. His name has just been circulating in the news. I believe he's like about 20-something years old, and I'm starting to see the videos where he stepped up and he took actions in his own hands. I think that's pretty brave, so I commend him for doing this. To the community out there, just please, if you see something, speak up. If you know, and it doesn't have to be when the incident's happening, you have to take it back to mental health, right? To some aspect, mental health has to probably play a role in here. I don't know exactly what, so I cannot speculate, but it's something as simple as just saying hello to somebody or just smiling at somebody. It can go a long way. And check in with your elders, if you know somebody that's elderly, just check in with them, say hello. If you have an elderly neighbor or something, wave at them, say hi. Sometimes they're very lonely and they want somebody to talk to. We don't know how that can affect them, but I can only assume that it can affect them in a positive way. So with that said, I'll yield my time.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Herrera. I want to add my condolences as well. And I know on the news, a number of the LA Department of Mental Health, their hotline has been circulating. So I just want to uplift the number for anyone who's experiencing trauma or grief or anxiety or just needs someone to talk to. They do have counselors online in multiple languages, and the number is 1-800-854-7771, and they will be a great resource for people who need to speak with someone. And I wanted to mention also for anyone who is interested in helping to support the Monterey Park community, that there is a site on GoFundMe, which is the Monterey Park Lunar New Year Victims Fund. And it's a conglomeration of about 12 organizations that have teamed together to raise hopefully $500,000 for the victims and their families. And you can just find the Monterey Park Lunar New Year Victims Fund on GoFundMe, but also there's a link to resources that the AAPI Equity Alliance has put together, and I printed it out. There's a ton of resources on there for anybody who may need assistance. There's pretty much everything right there. I also wanted to report out that I attended the City of Hope Community Benefit Advisory Council meeting last week, and I wanted to share that the applications for the 2023 Healthy Living Grants are going to be released starting on March 1st. And so the areas of focus for these grants that are $5,000 for nonprofit organizations are access to care, mental health, food and housing insecurity, healthy living, and cancer prevention. The nonprofit has to be serving vulnerable populations within Greater Los Angeles and Orange County. And for information, people can just Google City of Hope Healthy Living Grants, and there's more information about how to apply, as well as a list of the 2022 grant recipients. I think this is something we could apply for if we were a nonprofit, so maybe that when we talk about the budget, if there's a partner organization that we can work with, I think this would be a great event that they would be interested in supporting. And then I also just wanted to mention that next month is African American Heritage Month, and I'd love to recommend a PBS American Experience program entitled Zora Neale Hurston, Claiming a Space. Zora Neale Hurston was an influential author and key figure in the Harlem Renaissance in the 1920s. She was a trained anthropologist who traveled alone to collect and document folklore throughout the South and the Caribbean in the 1930s, reclaiming, honoring, and celebrating Black life on its own terms. She was really extraordinary trailblazer in many ways, and I think she should be much more well-known than she is. And so you can find it on the PBS website. And lastly, I will say that Chair Jennings-Nunez challenged us all at our last meeting before the end of the year to do something that was out of our comfort zone. So I will report that I have submitted an application as part of StoryCorps' One Small Step to be matched with someone of a different political background or belief than myself, to have a conversation. And I haven't been matched with anyone yet, but I'll keep you updated.
I feel sorry for that person.
We don't discuss politics, we discuss something else that we have in common, so it should be a good conversation.
So I echo the same sentiments of my fellow commissioners in the senseless tragedy, and my condolences go out to the victims and the families. The San Gabriel community mirrors Monterey Park community, as well as Alhambra, and we are all united together.
Yeah, I do also want to echo those sentiments. And, I witnessed something that was violent on Friday. And then, today, Gabriel High School was evacuated for a bomb threat. And I just feel like all of these things are hitting really close to home. And thinking about, it makes me think about not only mental health, but community care. And I think that's something that we talk about and address here at the HERE Commission in ways, how do we get people access to the things that they need when they need it? Even how to combat, stigmas or different social or cultural forces that would make asking for help or being vulnerable in these situations really difficult. And I just want to keep having these kinds of conversations about how we can do that and come together as a community and say, it's really important not to just keep this anger inside or feel like the only option is to do something violent, where, you know, a lot of people can get hurt, but have outlets for those things, have people, safe spaces where we can share and be open and vulnerable. So I don't know if that's a commissioner report, but I just, yeah, I wanted to say that, and I feel like it's been really heavy for me too.
Thank you. So as we started with our remembrance of all those victims and all of those people who have been touched by so much violence, this last few days, you know, it will continue to be on our hearts and our minds over the next few days. And so as Vice Chair Goto said, there are many resources out there for you, for those that you know, so please reach out if you need those. In terms of my report, the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority is starting their Los Angeles County homeless count tonight, and we'll be starting in San Gabriel, so I volunteered. This is my first year with that. So from here, I'm going, I think, out to the parking lot to do our San Gabriel homeless count. So they're going to be doing that in many of the surrounding cities, and it's over the next 3 days in different parts throughout Los Angeles County. As Vice Chair Goto also mentioned, next month, February, is dedicated to Black History Month. So our library, local library, has done a like a book exhibit for the last couple of years, and I'm hoping that they will do that. And I personally, stepping out of my comfort zone, am going to be sponsoring an art exhibit at Blossom Market. It starts February 1st through March 30th. So please stop by. If you're over there buying a sandwich, go up to the second floor. There'll be an art exhibit that's going to be featuring artwork from my father, James Jennings, who was an artist, and another African-American artist, a friend of mine in Chicago. And so that will be up for display for the next 2 months. With that, we'll go on to staff comments. So staff members have the opportunity to address the commission and public on matters of general information and or concern. Matthew or Adrian, do you have anything?
Sure, so just one quick note that at the next commission meeting, we will be welcoming our 2 new incoming commissioners, and then at that time, we'll also be doing the commission reorganization, so the selection of the chair and vice chair. And then, of course, at that time, we'll go over all of your options all over again, just like we have in the past, and then vote for the chair and vice chair. But if there's any questions in advance of the meeting, feel free to let me know. And as usual, the after-school program is taking the lead on coming up with new crafts to make sure that the kids are staying up to date with all of the cultural celebrations that are happening. So they are doing paper lanterns, and they're decorating their own red envelopes and then stuffing it with goodies to give out to others at the after-school program. So Amy Gomez-Cortez, our recreation supervisor, is leading all of that programming and is doing a fantastic job.
Excellent, thank you. Adrian, did you have something? I'm sorry. Okay. So with that, we will adjourn. So the next regular HERE Commission meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 28th at 6:30 p.m. Information regarding matters to be considered at each meeting will be available on the Friday before the HERE Commission meeting on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com. This regular meeting is now adjourned at 7:40 p.m.